Hey y'all, my name's Jamie. I'm new here, so I want to start by introducing myself. My name's Jamie. I am 44 years old. I'll be 45 next month. That's crazy. End of the month, April 28th. I can't believe it. Time has flown. It really does fly, y'all. I live down south. Obviously, I'm sure you can tell by the accent. The panhandle of Florida. So it's hot here, getting hot. The summer is going to be insane. I don't know how I'm going to make it, but let's get started with telling you a little bit about myself. I got a breast cancer diagnosis in June of 2025. So I've been fighting that this whole time. Just kind of thrust you in. Once you get the diagnosis, you're just kind of thrown in the deep end. And you just, like, in my experience, I was just so shell-shocked and just trying to do everything the right way and, just what they were telling me to do, honestly. Without getting too much into detail, I'm sure we will later, but did the biopsies, MRIs, everything. It all started really quick. By July, I was in chemo. So I did 12 rounds of chemo. Well, actually 16. 16 treatments. And, I mean, the horror of that. It is so traumatic. And, I just wanted to see if there was a community out there for people like me. And I know there is. I mean, I know there's a lot of videos about breast cancer and all of that. But to me, I've just felt so isolated and so alone in this. Now, I do have a family. I do have my mom, my sister, and my brother, and thank God for them. Lord. I do have a child. Well, she's not a child. She's 22 years old. She's grown and living the best life she can. And, I was a single mom her whole life. And I have been through some stuff. Like, that's another day, another time. But, I've always struggled. I just always never really felt like I had it together. And, the guilt with that alone. Well, then here comes this diagnosis. And long story short, I had just started at this new company. I'd only been there for 2 months. So, obviously, I didn't qualify for FMLA. So I had great insurance, while I was there. I mean, I had been doing this job for a couple of years, but I just transferred to a new company under that job. So basically everything started over. So I had really good insurance, trying to save money. I didn't sign up for, the short-term disability or whatever it was. Big mistake, you guys. I guess as you age, you should probably go ahead and do that. But I was penny pinching and just trying to save as much money as actually not save, just to make as much money as I could. Because I wanted to help my daughter. I live with my mom, thank goodness. I don't know how people go through these scenarios while trying to pay rent and mortgage or whatever. My mom's 72. Thank God for her, though. She's been a lifesaver through this. And along with my brother and my sister, honestly. But, there's no preparing for this. And, I have just been so worried about everything and just how am I going to get through this without losing everything I have. And I don't have much. I mean, I have my car. It's 2007, and I've got a year's worth of payments left on it. Can you believe that? It's so old. But, I'm thankful for it. But I just, there's not a lot of help out there. And I know that people are like, oh, do this, do that. But, I mean, there's really not. And, I'm not one to ask for help either. So, I've always been a worker. I've always, never been on the system or anything. But I just want to know if there was anybody out there like me who's just struggling, trying to keep what they have. Obviously my credit's been shot. On the verge of bankruptcy, trying to, not have to do that. I mean, I don't want to do that. So basically I had a very physical job. So I did it while I was doing chemo until I just couldn't anymore. Now, I don't know if anybody knows, but the chemo, it was hard. It is the hardest thing I've ever been through. And it's so cruel. That's the only thing I can think of. It's just so cruel. Everything involved with it. Everything involved with cancer. And I just wish there was more that could be done for everyone out there. I mean, my thoughts and prayers. If anyone, needs any prayer or wants to talk to someone, I'm here. I will be glad to do that because I feel like I've been just so alone in this. And I know I said I've had my family, but I guess you don't know until you know. Just how isolating it is. And the worry and the anxiety and the sickness and the pain, and there's so much to it. And it's just so eye-opening how, you think we have these big advancements, but there's still not a lot of help out there. I mean, it's mind-blowing to me, how everything is just supposed to go on like normal while you're trying to just stand up. I mean, even there were days during chemo where I couldn't get out of the bed. The fatigue is, you can't even put it into words. That was honestly the worst part for me. I mean, I know getting nauseous and, throwing up and all, but the fatigue is indescribable. The best way I can describe it is like you're walking around carrying, like your whole body's in cement. And it's just, I don't know how else to describe it, but it's worse than that. I mean, you physically, it's to a point you just can't go anymore. And not to mention all the infections involved, and just because your immune system is so low. But fast forward, I had 2 surgeries. The first surgery, they didn't clear all the margins. Had some lymph nodes. They had to go back in. I had a bunch of lymph nodes removed. So now I'm worried about lymphedema. I'm still trying to heal. It was 3 weeks ago today, actually, was my second surgery. And I start radiation in a few more weeks. I go next week to get radiation planning and get that all started. So I'm going to have 33 treatments of radiation. So, they say it's not as bad as chemo, so I'm thankful for that. Good night. I'm going to try and not say a lot because I do that and that drives me crazy. But I apologize in advance. I don't know who this is behind me, but they're walking a dog. But so I'm out here DoorDashing. I've been, once I couldn't do that physical job anymore, and I had to do something because I had bills, and there's no, I don't have any backup for that. There's no one that I can count on for that. So I've been DoorDashing like crazy for months, and that's getting to me. I'm doing the best I can, even sick, and when I lost all my hair, I mean, I looked like a ghost. Like, I looked terrible, and I know I did, but, I wore a beanie, when I lost all my hair. I mean, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, everything. They came back pretty quick, though. I was shocked about that. But, I've just DoorDashed like crazy. I'm talking about 8 hours a day. Like, my goal was $100 a day. And that's just to pay the minimum. I mean, but the wear and tear on my car, I mean, everything, the worry with that, I'm worried, what if something happens to my car? So there's just a lot. And, you know, I've just been thinking, like, there's got to be more. You know, even just a community where we can just talk and complain until we get through it. I mean, like they say, hey, you need to be positive because that, you know, people respond to treatment better if you can just stay positive. And I feel like I've been positive. I mean, I've been worried. I mean, stressed beyond belief, but I don't see how that you can let that go. I mean, we're told we have to deal with this, and this is almost a year in. You know, to save your life, but yet try not to lose everything you have, or, you know, try and keep groceries and, you know, gas in your car, trying to DoorDash. I mean, hello, gas prices. Hello, can we talk about that? I mean, that is crazy. This is crazy. So, you know, I'm worried about that. Well, DoorDashing's, you know, a lot of my money goes towards gas, and then the taxes eat your lunch. So, you know, I really don't know. I'm just trying to do the best I can through all this, and, you know, I just want people to know how hard it is and see if I know there's so many people going through this. I mean, it makes me mad, honestly. And I know it makes a lot of people mad that are going through this, and not just breast cancer, but just any cancer. Like, come on. We need to figure this out. Like, it's just so cruel. And, you know, I just want people to know that there's someone out there going through it. You know, people that don't feel like they can get out of bed and, you know, that are sick. You know, I pray for you all the time. I just pray for everyone going through it. And, you know, I just want y'all to know there's someone out there just like you. You know, I see a lot of people, you know, they have a ton of help, and, you know, even just to have the weight of not having to worry about losing everything. Like, how huge would that be? That would just be huge. So, I mean, there's got to be something done about that. And, you know, not everyone has a significant other or, you know, a big bank account for things like this. Not everyone's prepared when this shows up. You know, and that's okay. And, you know, I just want to see if, you know, if anybody has any questions. I mean, I have a lot of questions coming up. I mean, after this radiation, you know, then I start hormone replacement therapy. I'm supposed to take a shot and then 2 pills. One I got to take for 10 years, one I got to take for 3 years. So this is an ongoing process. And, you know, I'm just getting really concerned. You know, also I'm very thankful. I mean, I do have a good group of doctors. You know, it hasn't been, you know, you see all these videos, you know, when you're trying to prepare going through it. And sometimes it's not helpful because it's like, you know, at the end of chemo, you see all these people ringing the bell, you know, at the end of chemo. I didn't ring a bell. Like, it wasn't, you know, I guess it was just different for me. I guess some people ring a bell, some people don't. But, you know, it wasn't a thing, you know. It wasn't like, ooh, yay, ring a bell, you're done. I mean, there was no celebrating. There was nothing. It was just, I got my last chemo treatment and I left. And went home and got in the bed and tried to recover. And, you know, those last 4, the Red Devil, that's the name. I mean, how cruel is that, too? Can we come up with a better name? I mean, I understand it's bad and everything, but I don't want to, you know, we're already going through this cruel disease and this, you know, just ugly thing. And then to name something that, you know, that never sat right with me. It's like, it never sat right with me. We need to do something about that too. Because, you know, I would cry, like, going in to those treatments, just knowing what was coming, you know, knowing how I was going to feel, because, you know, I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy. So, you know, if there's anyone out there who's gone through this and who has struggled, you know, and didn't have like the big celebratory, you know, things like this, I'm your person. You know, it's not the same for everybody. And, you know, those videos are great and all, and everyone wearing pink and all that. But, you know, and to me, I mean, that's awesome. You know, I'd love to be a part of that. But, you know, I'm fighting tooth and nail just to get through this and to keep groceries on the table and to feed my animals, you know, because that's my passion. It's my animals and my dogs and my cats, all animals really. But, you know, and then worrying about vet bills and stuff. I mean, you can never, you know, there's people out there that are like, oh, well, you should have been more prepared and you shouldn't do, you know, that's not how life is. Can we just move on from that? I mean, people can be so mean. I mean, nothing is the way it should be, honestly. You know, I'm a good person. I believe, you know, my faith is important to me. And, you know, my life has been not easy. And there's a lot of people out there like that. But we've done, you know, I do the best I can. I do try and stay positive. I'm a happy person. You know, I enjoy meeting people. I like making friends and, you know, having fun. But it's just been way too hard the past few years. And, you know, I just want to... The loneliness is hard. And just feeling alone in this. And, you know, it's just like there's... I honestly feel like a ghost. So, you know, I'm just trying to stay positive, keep it going. But this doordashing, you know, I'll bring y'all along with me and one day. But, I mean, I do it all day long. And, you know, I don't know what else to do at this point. And, you know, I have so many bills coming in. And, you know, I still can't even raise my arm all the way up just from the last surgery. And, you know, just trying to stay moving, trying to stay positive. And, you know, it's okay not to be, I think it's okay not to be positive sometimes. I mean, this is not easy. And especially when you're doing it on your own. And, you know, everyone's like, you've always been a fighter. You're so strong. You know, sometimes that doesn't help. Because it's like, okay, but when do I not have to fight? When does that come? I mean, is that just my identity now? Oh, I'm the strong fighter. So my whole life, that's what I'm going to be doing. Like, I mean, at some point, you know, it would just be nice for things to be a little bit easier. And so I just, you know, if I'm just talking. And this is going to be unedited, just, you know, super real. Because, you know, I'm sick of seeing just all the fake stuff. And, you know, super edited. And, you know, I just need there's got to be more people out there like me, you know. So, if you are, you know, shoot me a message or whatever. Or, you know, I just want you to know there's someone out there praying for y'all. Even if I don't, praying for people like me who, you know, really need a break. And it's just not happening. It's just not coming yet. You know, just trying to stay close to God. Because, I mean, that's the only thing that's helped. And, you know, y'all will meet my little baby, my shadow. That's my little dog. He's a Velcro baby. Okay? He cannot get close enough to me. But Y'all meet him soon. His name is Shadow. He came with that name. You know, obviously he was a rescue. I know I used to do a lot of rescue and helping as much as I could. And, you know, then things change, and it's like people are like, well, you should find homes for your animals since you can't take care of them properly, or, you know, do this and that. And I'm like, okay, that's not how life works. I mean, come on. You know, I'm sick of that. You know, I have a servant's heart. But how do you have a servant's heart and not have any money? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So it's like, I don't know. There's got to be people out there like me. I know there's too many people struggling, you know. And so, anyway, that's a lot about me. I mean, oh, and back to the trauma of everything with this breast cancer. You know, the gaining weight, I mean, that's even more cruel. Okay, they are pushing all these steroids and stuff. There needs to be something in place for that too. I mean, because that just doesn't make you feel good. You lose your hair, you go bald, then you grow back and it's completely different color. I mean, it could come back kinky, curly. I don't know. They say it could be completely different. So, you know, we're just watching and waiting. I've had to get used to this. I mean, I get called a man all the time. Yes, sir. How are you, sir? You know, because of this new hair that I've had to get used to and just get comfortable walking into places, not feeling real good about yourself, not feeling good. You know, I mean, the mental trauma of all this is huge, and I just don't think there's a lot of talk about that. It's like, oh, you're such a fighter and stuff, but okay, when we're going through it, I'm struggling. Okay, I'm struggling with everything. The weight gain. You know, I've gained close to 30 pounds, 25, 20 pounds, I don't know. And, you know, I'm big anyway. I'm 6'1". So, you know, no woman wants to be that tall. Let's just be honest. And, you know, here I am. 6'1", short hair, you know, trying to be okay with that. I don't know. It's just mean. It's just so mean. So, you know, if you have any advice for that, you know, and then, you know, you get all these health things. Oh, do this, do that. I can't afford all that stuff. You know, I'm struggling just to keep my car insurance, you know, a loan I have for my daughter, you know, just stuff like that. Food, dog food, cat food, literally. Like, I can't afford all these natural remedies and like all this other stuff. I mean, where are those people at? You know, the people that can't do that. You know, there are no luxuries to this. Like, you know, it's scraping by. Meanwhile, you live at the doctor's office. I mean, it just takes over your life. You know, and it's really gotten to me. It's really taken its toll, you know, just about how I just can't even put into words. Like how you're just thrown to the wolves and just expected to just keep everything normal. Like it's not normal. That's what it is. They're treating this almost like it's the flu or something. You know, and you're just expected to carry on. And I know some people do, but if I had a different job, like where I could sit at a desk or something, but that just wasn't the case, and that's just not the case for everyone. I mean, maybe things would be a little different, but that's just not how it is. This isn't the common cold. I mean, this goes on forever. I mean, So it's really disheartening. Like they're trying to, make this like a normal thing. And I understand. I mean, this cancer is huge. I mean, there are so many people battling it. It's crazy. And it's just getting worse. And I just don't understand. And they're just trying to make it seem like normal. So, or that's what it feels like. I mean, maybe they're not. But, I guess they see so many people, it's just like a normal thing. It's like, we'll figure it out. I mean, I don't know. And maybe I'm not making any sense, but I'm just trying to use this as like therapy. Just talking. Just getting my thoughts out. Because, I've been struggling. And just not understanding how this is supposed to go. Like, I just, I don't want to be like this. I want to, I want to be prepared. But financially and, I mean, and just the guilt of that. Oh, well, here I am sick and, I'm a burden. Like, that's another part of it. Just being a burden to everyone, and while everyone else is struggling. I know in my family, everyone is, we're just struggling. It's just, like I said, me, my mom, my sister, my brother. We weren't lucky in love, for sure. I mean, my mom was, and he passed away suddenly 10 years ago, just completely unexpected in a motorcycle accident. Be careful of those motorcycles. So it's just been hard. And like I said, when I feel lonely or isolated, I'm just going to talk to y'all. See if there's anyone out there like me who wants somebody to talk to. I'd be glad to. And just pass advice back and forth, or, encouragement. That's big. I guess that's enough. But I'll make some more maybe and see if I can get my feelings lined up with what I want to say, because a lot of this has just been a big, just whatever comes out. So it's just, oh, and the brain fog with chemo, that's crazy. They call it chemo brain. I mean, it's true. Like, I can't remember. Sometimes I'll just be talking and I have no idea what I was going to say. That happens all the time. So, and that sticks around, so there's that. I mean, just there's so much to it. And the fact that you're just supposed to carry on like normal, that just drives me crazy. Not enough is being done. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's a lot of people getting support, but, I'm not. So, I'm still trying to get used to this hair, y'all. I play with it all the time, but I just don't know. And we can watch the transformation of how this plays out, what comes out. Is it going to be straight? Is it going to be kinky curly? I mean, what's going to happen with this hair? We don't know. Good thing is about radiation, they said I won't lose my hair, so at least I won't have to start all over with this process. But anyway, y'all, I guess I need to get DoorDashing. I'm so sick of DoorDashing, y'all. I'm thankful, though. I mean, I'm trying to be thankful and grateful for the little things. I mean, it has kept me going somewhat. I just want to help as much as I can. And, ready for things just to be normal. But, y'all, if anybody wants to talk, I'm here. If anybody, just let me know. God bless y'all. Love y'all. Bye.